Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweating. You just read an email from your boss, and it said, "We need to talk." Nothing has happened yet. No lion, no cliff edge, no enemy tribe on the horizon, just 11 words on a screen. But your body doesn't know that. Your body thinks it's about to die. And the real answer for why is far stranger than stress, or anxiety, or a bad day at work. It goes back 200,000 years to a version of you that never checked email, never sat in traffic, and never once worried about being unfollowed. That version of you is still in there. And it is still running the show. Start with what's actually happening inside you right now, in this exact moment, whenever something feels threatening. Deep in your brain, sitting just above your brainstem, there's a small almond-shaped cluster of cells called the amygdala. It's tiny, barely the size of a grape, but it has one job, and it does that job faster than any other part of your brain. It watches for danger. Constantly. Before you've even consciously registered what you're looking at. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades mapping exactly how this works, and what he found changed how scientists understood fear itself. There are two paths information can take once it hits your senses. One goes to your thinking brain, your cortex, where you analyze, reason, and decide. That path is slow, careful, smart. The other path skips all of that. It goes straight to the amygdala. Ledoux called this the low road. A shortcut. Raw sensory data goes in one end, and a full-body alarm comes out the other, before your conscious mind has even caught up. You jump before you know why. You flinch before you understand what you saw. Why would evolution build something so reckless? So quick to fire, so willing to skip careful analysis? Because for most of human history, the cost of being slow was death. Picture your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, walking through tall grass at dusk. A shape moves. Yellow eyes catch the light. There is no time for careful analysis. There is no time to gather more data, weigh probabilities, consult a friend. There is only time to run, or freeze, or fight. The humans who hesitated to think it through didn't get a second chance to learn from the mistake. The humans who reacted first and asked questions later survived long enough to have children, and their children inherited that same trigger-happy amygdala. Physiologist Walter Cannon was the first to name what happens next, back in the early 20th century. He called it the fight-or-flight response. The moment your amygdala sounds the alarm, your hypothalamus fires a signal down to your adrenal glands, and they flood your bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate spikes, blood rushes away from your stomach and toward your muscles. Your pupils dilate, your breathing quickens. Digestion, immune function, even long-term memory formation, all of it gets temporarily deprioritized, because none of it matters if you're about to be eaten. This system is brilliant. It is also, in the modern world, almost hilariously miscalibrated. Because your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a lion and a Slack notification. It cannot tell the difference between a genuine, life-threatening predator and a passive-aggressive text message from someone you're dating. It cannot tell the difference between a real physical cliff and the social cliff of speaking in front of a room full of strangers. As far as your amygdala is concerned, all of these are the same category of threat. Something is happening. React now. Sort out the details later. Stanford neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky has spent much of his career studying exactly this mismatch, largely through his work on stress in baboons in the wild. What he found was strange. A zebra being chased by a lion experiences an enormous stress response, and then, the moment the chase ends, one way or another, its body returns to baseline. It shakes it off, literally, and moves on. You don't do that. You lie in bed at 11 at night, replaying the tone of a co-worker's email from 6 hours earlier. You feel your stomach tighten before you've even opened the message. You relive an argument from 3 years ago while brushing your teeth, and your amygdala responds to the memory almost exactly as it would respond to the argument happening again, right now, in real time. Sapolsky's research suggests this is one of the defining features of being human. Zebras get stressed by real, immediate threats. Humans get stressed by the anticipation of threats, the memory of threats, and the imagined possibility of threats that may never happen at all. Your brain evolved to survive lions. Instead, it spends most of its energy surviving conversations that haven't happened yet. So why hasn't this changed? 200,000 years is a long time. Why hasn't evolution caught up and built us a nervous system suited for emails instead of predators? Because 200,000 years, on an evolutionary timescale, is nothing. It's a blink. Natural selection doesn't work fast enough to redesign a fear response every time a species changes its environment. Your genome doesn't know that most modern humans will never encounter a large predator in their entire lives. It only knows that the ancestors who survived long enough to reproduce were the ones with fast, aggressive threat detection. You inherited a smoke detector built for wildfires, and now you're using it in a kitchen. It goes off every time you make toast. And here's the part that reframes everything. This isn't a flaw in you. It isn't weakness. And it isn't something broken that needs fixing. It's an inheritance. Every time your chest tightens before a difficult conversation. Every time your stomach drops when your phone buzzes unexpectedly. Every time you feel your pulse quicken. Walking into a room full of strangers, you are feeling the exact same biological machinery that kept your ancestors alive on the savannah. The mismatch isn't a malfunction, it's a translation error. A system built for a world of lions, now running in a world of deadlines. Once you understand where the alarm is actually coming from, something shifts. You stop asking, "Why am I like this?" and start asking a better question. What is my amygdala mistaking this for? Because knowing that your fear response is ancient and not personal changes how you relate to it. That racing heart before a presentation isn't proof that you're in danger. It's proof that a 200,000-year-old alarm system is doing exactly what it was built to do, just aimed at the wrong target. You can't delete this system. You wouldn't want to. It's the same wiring that lets you snap your hand back from a hot stove before you consciously register the heat. The same wiring that once let your ancestors survive long enough for you to exist at all. But you can learn to recognize its voice. You can learn to notice the moment your amygdala sounds the alarm for a lion that isn't there. And gently remind the rest of you that the grass is empty. The shape in the corner of your eye is just a shadow. And the email from your boss is, statistically, very unlikely to end in anything close to death. Tonight, when your phone buzzes and your stomach tightens before you've even looked at the screen, pause for 1 second. Notice it. That flicker of dread isn't really about the message. It's about a lion that stopped being a threat 200,000 years ago and never got the memo.